Hello techies. Welcome to our brand new video series focused on helping you get the most of your experiences in life. Before we start the video, let's know about Upptalk. Upptalk is a live, interactive platform for software training, furnishing robust personalities who could take on universal business platforms.
Straightforward. Okay. How are we naming this? See up to denote that this is the calculated field, and then our initials W for everything that we are doing. And then what? Date difference. Date difference because we include the function right. We will use the function and then a meaningful description of what we are doing, right? So we will say, what are we going to say? These before payment right. Can we say that? All days between approval or, days between approval and payment right. Something like that. Days between approval and payment right. So that we know that it is that these are the two fields that we are comparing. So the business object is expense report. Okay. Because that is what we are going to save. That is what is. That is how primary business object in our report as well. The function. We know it a difference. Click OK. So, based on the function chosen, you will get the calculation tab. You see, the calculation tab says date difference. So, based on the function that you choose, you are given the calculation tab. So what it will start date field. The data of approval. Approval date, right? That is the name of the field and end date is date. Correct. So we are calculating the difference between approval date and the payment date. And how do you want the output in years, in months, days, hours, minutes, and seconds, then days? We want in days, right? If we do in years for this type of data, the type of data that we are handling, if we do in years, it may not give us a very accurate result, right? In months, also not too big a unit. Days looks to be okay. We can do as well, but hours, minutes, and seconds are too small, right? So if I do hours, it will give me, let's say, 15,000 hours. So I don't know what is 15,000 hours, right? It is difficult to make sense of what is that, isn't it? And minutes and seconds, so not applicable, not too relevant for this particular type of scenario. And you see there is an option which says, recall, return 0 on error. Whenever we see this kind of option return 0 on error, return blank if empty, if we have these options within the calculation, we should always click on that right. Because what happens is there might be some problems with the data. There might be some problems with the way the data is present, because we do not know all the data points right. So let's say that it is not paid yet, so the paid date is blank, okay? So then, what will happen? How will it calculate the difference between approval date and the paid date? Right? It will return an error, isn't it? So in that case, what will happen is we don't want the report to fail or the calculation to fail and give you a dump right. We want it to return a 0. That okay if it is not able to do the calculation. If there was some problem in the calculation, just return 0. Do not throw a dump saying that it do not throw an error saying it could not perform calculation. Please check the calculation right. We do not want that. If it is not able to do the calculation, return 0. Okay. This is the best practice because this will be our escape route, or if somebody's from programming background, the try-catch block. You try something. If there is an error, you catch the error right, so that it doesn't propagate to the next. Okay. So we have created this field. Let me click on OK to save this. So CFWW, if date difference days between approval and payment, let's test it out, isn't it? Let's test it in the custom report. So we go here and in the custom report we edit, and just add this field right here after the paid date. Let's put it here. Okay, and let's give it a heading override. Days before payment, right? So, and let's make some more changes to this. One is, every time I don't want to enter the name of the company, right? I want it to be auto-prompted, or I want it to be automatically there. So in the company, so what did I do? I went to prompts. I populated undefined prompt defaults. It gave me company, and then I will delete specified value, and let me choose global, modern services and QSA right. So that every time I don't have to prompt and click OK. Just make it a little bit more user-friendly. OK, run. It's already populated. OK. Right, so now, what is happening here? 22nd April 2008 is February 16th, 2009. A little let me close to 300 days, right? That is what it is calculating. This one is over 2 years, between April 2008 and June 2010. So this one took 776 days, a little over 2 years to pay. The employee must have left the organization by then, right? 2 years to reimburse or to pay an expense report, all right. But then, there were some which were quite good 0 days, right? So now 160, 494 days, etc., etc. So there were is all over the place. We have 5 right. 493. We have 492. We have so many. Okay. Now let's try to see what was the expected payment date. What was the expected payment date, and what was the right? That is what we should aim for. So how can we find out the day, which is 30 days after the approval date? Let's look at the functions. We are trying to find the day, that is, 30 days after our approval date, which function can reconsider. Count related instance, but why? Why would you choose that? These are more common. The offer of the 50 days, but we are counting. Okay. But how is it? Okay. Related instance, right? Related instance. It means that if there are multiple related instances of something, for example, a worker has 5 dependents, right? So you can count the number of dependents using count related instance. You have created 10 expense reports. I have created 5. So those expense reports are instances that are related to me, which is the worker, me and you as workers. So if I want to count how many expense reports I have created, yes, I can use a count related instance. But here we are trying to find a date that is 30 days after the approval date. So we are looking for a date. So it would be in this particular yellow box, isn't it? I made it orange. Anyway, so it would be in this date. Right. We have to use increment or decrement date. Right. It has to be in the date box because we are trying to find a date. Okay. Count related instance. We'll give you a count of some related instances of something like many expense reports a worker has created. How many performance reviews, performance ratings a worker has. Performance appraisals. How many performance appraisals does a worker have? How many higher education degrees does a worker have? Write how many increments a worker has received. How many times the worker's position has changed. Right. Those things you can find in the related instances.
Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us at sales@upptalk.com.